Hi, I'm Ben, and welcome to Ben's Language Lab. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how English works. In this series, we talk about English grammar, but not in the way that you're used to. Here we don't do any drills, we don't look at any charts, and you don't have to memorize anything. Instead, the goal is to learn how to better understand English so that you can learn these things a little more easily and without as much confusion. Today, we're going to be talking about count nouns, which is a bit of a fancy name, but let's break it down. So, nouns, those are things. We think of them as a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Where's my eraser? There it is. And so someone like me, Ben is a noun. I am a noun. That's actually a pronoun, but it's still a kind of noun. Somebody is a noun. So is a place, like home is a noun, or Paris is also a noun, a place. It can be a specific place, right, like Paris or my bedroom. It can also be a generic place, like outside. Anything like that can be a noun. It's a place. And then we have a thing, which is something like an apple or a water bottle. Anything is a noun. These are the most common nouns as they appear everywhere. We talk about things all the time. And then ideas as well. Those are kind of an extension of a thing, but it helps to think about idea. So for example, knowledge. L-E-D-G-E. Knowledge is also a noun. You can think a thought is a noun, right? It's sort of like a thing that's in your mind, right? So it's not a real thing, it's a mind thing. You can think about it like that. So that's what a noun is. Now let's get into the part about non-count. Non-count, what is that? So the first thing, count, is right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can count something. So for example, dogs are countable. You can have one dog. There's one. Give him some ears. It's a terrible dog. You can have a second dog. You can have as many dogs as you want, and you can count them. This is dog number 1. This is dog number 2. I'm counting them, right? You can have anything that you can count. Here are some USB drives. I have 2 USB drives. I can count them. Things that are non-count are things that you can't count. There's either 0 of it or it is. So think about air. I'm breathing in. Air is non-count because there's either you can't ask how many air are there. It's either a yes or a no. But dogs, there's no, like there's 0 dogs, or there's 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 1 million dogs, right? So you can count any number of dogs. Air, it doesn't matter how much there is. If it's even the tiniest amount of air, we say there is air, right? And if there's no air, you can't breathe, there's no air. And fun fact, that's called a vacuum, which is one of the few words in English that has 2 U's next to each other. As far as I know, there is one other word in English that has 2 U's next to each other. Can you find what it is? Tell me in the comments below. And so, this is a non-count noun. Something where instead of counting how much there is, it's a yes or no question. So a really good example is something like water, right? My bottle has water in it. That doesn't tell you if there's this much or this much, right? You don't have 1 water or 5 water in it. It's just there is water in my water bottle. Speaking of which, stay hydrated. It's good for you. So, we know that there is some things that you can and can't count. Now, there are also some ones that are a little bit weird, right? So if we go to something like fish, you have one fish, two fish, three fish. Those are countable, but it never changes, right? You don't start saying fishes necessarily. You can, actually. That's a thing you can say, but most people will just say fish, right? I have three fish. And so it kind of behaves in this weird way because with something like air, we don't put an S at the end, right? We don't say airs, what we do with dogs, right? We can't, when we have more than one. But with fish, we just say 1, 2, 3, fish. And so you get this kind of high... Oh, I think my thing just crashed. Hang on, let me get my writing back. Yeah, you can't see my screen. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're back now. Let's see. Yeah, okay, now we're good. Sorry. The recording for this just decided to stop, but okay, we're going to keep going. So, what was I saying? Fish. You can count them, right? There's 1, 2, 3 fish, but the word doesn't change. So it kind of behaves a little bit like that. But it is a countable noun because you can count fish. Something like sheep is also a weird one because you can do the same thing. 1, 2, 3 sheep. There's a sheep. I have sheep. So you can get to this place where it's like kind of non-countable, but also countable. This is pretty common, especially for things that are dealt with in big numbers, right? So pretty much any animal kind of will fit into this, except it's more like plural versus non-plural. Not pretty much any animal. Lots of animals, rather. I said that wrong. But there's something even weirder that I want to get into. That's pretty easy. You can figure out that fish and 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, those are pretty easy to count, but whatever. The weird thing is when it comes into words like waters. That's totally fine. That is a word. You can have 3 waters. But it's not referring to the same idea, right? The water that's non-countable is just in existence. In my bottle, there is water. But if you go and ask somebody for 3 waters, they're going to give you 3 cups of water or 3 bottles of water. So there's this other thing that's implied at the beginning sort of thing where there's like a different unit of water, if that makes sense. So if you ask for 3 waters at a restaurant, they're going to bring you 3 cups of water. Oop, that's not a cup. They're going to bring you 3 cups full of water because you asked for 3 of them. If you just ask for water, they might only bring 1 for you or something like that. Can I have some water, please? Would be water for you, but can we get 3 waters? It's like everybody here wants water or whatever it is. You can do this with pretty much any noun. Not all of them make a ton of sense, but you can do it if you want. One you might see if you ever go to the US or an English-speaking country is the word persons. Because most people learn that there is 1 person and then there are 2 people. Right? That is the plural version of person is what we think of, right? So I'll put this up here actually. No. Yeah, I was correct. There it is. So 1 person, 2 people. But that's what we say. But the word persons does exist, as does the word peoples. And this is actually because they are 2 different words that kind of got combined. A person is referring to the individual person, right? I am a person. You are a person. And when you refer to persons, you're saying that there are several individuals somewhere. And the only real place that you see persons is on a sign that'll say maximum occupancy, 100 persons, right? I don't know if you've seen that before, but a maximum occupancy is the largest number of people that you can have in one room or one building. That's occupancy is the number of occupants, which are people inside something. But they use the word persons partly because it's just how we say it, right? We just know that. But also because they're referring to each individual human being, and they want to be specific about that, right? Because actually 100 people isn't as legally clear, if that makes sense. And so we use persons, and you can say 5 persons. Don't actually use that in English. Nobody's ever going to say it, but this is sort of explaining what the difference is between people and persons. The peoples is also something, right? You can have, let's say, 5 peoples. But this is referring to specifically large groups of people. So, for example, North America is home to many native peoples, right? You wouldn't say many native people because it's different groups of distinct peoples. And so it kind of refers, you can think of it a bit like tribes or groups, right? You can count those. And so that's when you might hear the slight difference there. So generally, we consider people to be non-count because you have person, right? It's the plural version. It's non-count. But you can almost always count something that's non-countable because you're counting individual units of that thing in some way. And so this might seem a little bit complicated, but when you hear it, I promise it'll start to make sense. Focus on things that don't have numbers, right? That they just get this yes or no thing, right? It's like, is there this or is there not? Some other common ones are, let's see, let's get rid of these. Some other common ones that you might come across are data, right? Actually, it used to be countable. There are data, but now we say there is data. It's now non-count. There's 1 data, 2 data, like it's all just data. Same with information. Information. There's also one that I see all the time. Oh, stuff is a great one, actually. Stuff. You don't say stuffs, right? It's just stuff. Things, on the other hand, is countable, right? You can have 1 thing, 2 things, but you can only have stuff or no stuff. That's a really good example of the difference between count and non-count. What's the one that I see all the time? Content. Content. Content is something you cannot count. I see this mistake pretty often with English learners. They say that they've been enjoying some contents, but that's like the stuff that is inside something else. Again, non-countable as well, but it's a different word. Some content in English, or some content is like many movies or many TV shows, or my videos are content, but they are not contents, right? You don't have 2 contents that you enjoy. It's just content. So these are some examples of these non-countable nouns that you're going to come across in your immersion. So don't try to memorize this. Don't try to look up charts of what's non-countable and what's not. Try to understand this as best as you can, and then keep an eye out for it in your immersion, and it will make a lot more sense as you get better and better understanding English. But that's everything that I have for today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more like it. And also in the comments, along with that other W word, not W word, let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover, and I'll talk about those in a future video. That's all that I have for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.